It's AJ McKee, the mercenary, back here in the program. Sorry. Before we started recording, I was making fun of him because he's in the middle of cleaning his room. Typical fighter. He wakes up, immediately goes right to practice. So I'm making fun of him because his bed's not made. And he was running around. It's just, typical fighter lifestyle. Um, what's a daily routine for you? Like, what time you get up in the morning?
9:45.
What time you got to work out?
10.
Hold up. So you wake up and you're at practice by 10 o'clock and you wake up at 9:45?
Yeah. Gym's only like 10 minutes away, so I got 5 minutes, brush my teeth, make a protein shake, take my vitamins, and then I'm out the door.
Man, I'm not even awake at that point. I need like an hour of waking up
Nah.
before I'm ready to function.
Yeah, I literally wake up straight to the gym. After that, go home, make some food. After I make some food, take a shower, then hop on the video games, play some video games if I'm not too tired, and take a nap. And I probably sleep till about 6, 7 o'clock, and then wake up and practice again at like 8.
And it's a 2 hour practices each time?
Yeah.
Well, it seems to be working. Whatever Body Shop's got going on down there, it seems other than Gormley having his little hiccup just against Karatanov this last weekend or 2 weekends ago. It's been working down there for you guys. That routine just seems to be functioning and seems to be okay. Do new fighters come to the gym and they're like, hey, I want to be a part of the program. I like what you guys got going on, and they start looking at that system and they're like, really, like 10 to 12, and then 8 to 10, like. That's a big break. Do they start wondering how you guys are putting it together?
I mean, some guys, most of the time the night class is just mainly like guys who have fights, and then like guys that are like serious, and like because that's mainly one-on-one work with my dad, or he'll like put a circuit together to where he can work with somebody individually while the other people are working on the circuit, and then you like switch within the circuit and working with him, So no, we have guys come in, they'll like the training, and then the second day they'll be a little beat up, and then third day they're like, you guys are fucking crazy, and then fourth day, like, I'm out of here. So for the most part, we get guys that come in and out, but through the hard training, they usually break. A lot of guys break when they come train with us. Neither you like it and you love the realness of the gym, or you're gonna be like, all these guys are fucking crazy. I want nothing to do with them.
Yeah, but that's kind of typical for most gyms.
Yeah.
Your dad's smart though. He's not making money on you guys, not on the pros. The gym stays open because all the classes he has, and the one-on-one time, and the personal trainers and all that stuff. So the one-on-one time with you guys, it doesn't really matter if there's a bunch of pros in there or not, as long as you have enough training partners, as long as your teammates have enough training partners, and that's all it really is the big concern. Do you have enough training partners to get you ready for Dominic Mazzotta?
Yeah. I mean, I got my dad. That's really all I need, I
Yeah,
got
but
my
he's
dad.
old as hell. And he's got a kid
Dude,
on the way, and he's got a gym to
my
run. And
my dad whoops everybody's ass in that gym still to this day.
still.
I still to this day, I'm the only one who will give him like a run for his money. And literally the first 3 minutes, he's whooping my ass. But I know after that 3 minutes, he's in trouble. So
That's awesome. The what is the closest you come to beating your dad? You almost catch him in a submission? Did you almost put him on the ground with striking? Like, how was it?
striking, he frustrates the hell out of me. But I would say I've caught him before, a couple little submissions. But I know I catch him when he laughs. Like if I got a submission and then he's laughing and he taps, he's like, that means I got it. But my dad has a whole nother side too. It's like if he goes to that other side, it's very bad for whoever's standing in front of him.
Yeah, and that was one of the things when he was a competitor, that it was all fun and games until all of a sudden the money was on the line and things were getting tight. Then he all of a sudden flipped a switch, and you're like, whoa, this is like a guy I'd never want to meet in a dark alley. He
Exactly.
will, and you're his son for one, but also two, the other guys are people he's trying to coach now. So he's never going to hit that side. He's never going to snap on him, like, because like arm's going to break, jaw's going to get broken, nose is going to get swollen closed.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole thing. So I get it, man, but I can't believe that old ass bastard is still putting it together. Jesus.
Still, dude, we're working for that father son fight soon. Just to be able to be first in history to do that. Only people besides in any other sport to do it was baseball. So
Yeah.
for me and him to be able to go out there and compete together, especially him at his age in this type of sport, such a contact sport, it's it's remarkable, you know.
I think it happened once or twice in hockey as well, but it's very far in between. Like you can
Yeah,
definitely count all the times in all the sports. I think on one hand,
yeah, for
it's
sure.
definitely a hard thing to have father son kind of deal put together. So let's talk about Mazzotta. Obviously, you're 7-0, just kicking everybody's ass, like just having a tremendous career to this point. Dominic's 11-1. Is he a good 11-1? Is he one of those guys like, he kind of just had 12 fights, but nothing really stands out to you?
I thought he was 12-1. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked
Okay.
into it much, but I know his one loss was to the UFC 135-pound champ right now, and that was back when they were both 3-4-0. So I don't know. Uh, Knowing from that fight, the 35-pounder champ, he's very explosive. So I know he doesn't do well with explosive movements. I feel like he's very very flat, but good basic fighter, you know. So it's a good test for me to go out there and just stay moving, you know. No one's really been able to have an answer for my unorthodox just of moving from place to place to place, throwing random kicks and punches from every angle. So uh just going out there and doing that and seeing how he deals with it, and if things aren't going well, then just take him down and ground and pound his face in at the same time.
So for the folks at home that don't know, AJ's talking about when Dominic Mazzotta fought Cody Garbrandt back in 2014. He got beat in the second round by TKO punches, and since then has gone on an 8-fight win streak. And it is legitimately crushing his way through the division. But I'm also looking at these wins since the Garbrandt fight, which is, like I said, back in 2014. It's a long time ago. Next win, split decision win. Armbar win, rear naked choke win, rear naked choke win, rear naked choke win, rear naked choke win, guillotine choke win. Oh, unanimous decision. So, are you working on not getting caught in chokes for this training camp?
No, not really. I mean, I don't like leaving my neck open, so I don't plan on him getting taking my back at any point to get around my neck, or for me to take a bad enough shot for him to catch me in a guillotine. You know, you fight the hands, you can't catch anyone in a guillotine. You just fight the hands. Most wrestlers get caught because they'll take the shot and they don't fight the hands, and then by the time they try to fight the hands, it's too late. So one thing my dad's always went over from the beginning, once we show guillotines or taking shots, it's fight the hands no matter where you're at. If there's a hand around your neck, fight the hand.
So, did you watch the King Mo Rampage Jackson fight a couple weeks
I
ago?
did.
Bellator?
I,
Okay.
I watched it on FaceTime with my dad because I couldn't get to a TV.
Why couldn't you get to a TV? You got a big ass screen behind your head.
That's the computer.
Oh, that's worse. That doesn't help. That doesn't help you at all. That makes it worse. How come
Um,
you just out working out, or just busy, or what happened? How come you couldn't get to the computer?
yeah, I forgot what I was doing. I was running errands or something, and
Okay.
I didn't have time, so I was just like, Dad, FaceTime me, like watch the fight like that.
Okay. So, did you see how much Muhammad, King Mo kept shooting, kept attacking, kept shooting?
Yeah.
But you're talking about a 50-pound bigger man. Like Rampage weighed in at 253. That's a lot of man to be, trying to get a hold of. When you
Yeah,
weigh, because King walks around at
20.
211, 212.
Yeah, 220 max.
Yeah, he's not very big for 205. Like he's just like, this is just naturally what it is. But you saw that every time that he would shoot and get caught in a weird position, he'd immediately fight the hands. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Every time that no matter what, no matter how easy the takedown should be, you're definitely not going to finish the takedown if a guy's around your neck. You want to fight those hands first.
Yep, of course, because it can go from 0 to 100 in a matter of literally less than a second, and it's like especially the way people are pulling off guillotines now, the modified guillotine I do, like if I get that guillotine and I modify it and I get the hand over the shoulder, you're not getting out. You're gonna go to sleep. So it's like immediately you need to get straight to the hands.
Right. Right. And when you talk about modified guillotine, you're talking about the one where you come in and pull the hand up over the top and put it on the top, or are we talking about a different one?
I do mine a little different, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get it out of him, but he won't show us. I know what it is. I've seen it before, but I was trying to get it during the interview. Like, no, it's this way. This is how it's done. Okay. So
Yeah,
what else did you tweak for this training camp? Or did you tweak anything for this training camp? Because you kind of worry about don't worry about your opponent so much. You're kind of not a tape watcher. You don't really worry about what Dominic's going to be doing. You're just kind of like trying to do your thing.
I would say a lot of explosive stuff, you know. I know my 1-2 pop shots are good, but this fight, it's following up, you know, following up,
Okay.
making sure your hands are up on the way out because he does like to throw on the way out, trying to catch people on the way out. That's one thing that I have. I'll admit that is one of my flaws is throwing on my way out. So lately we've been working on punching on your way out. So
Okay.
I'll get off, and then as soon as I back out, I'm throwing something on the way out as well. So just doing that, a lot of speed, agility, getting my fast twitch moving fast. Again, my hands feel lightning fast. So I don't know. It's gonna be a fun fight. Go out there and de-hype his hype train.
You know, there is a lot of hype behind him, and it's a little not disconcerting to me, I guess, because he is 12-1 or 11-1 at this point. But you're 7-0, and I'm trying to figure out how come there's not as much. I'm not seeing as much hype. I see a lot of hype for the fight, but more hype on him than I do on you. And I'm trying to figure out why, because the undefeated guy usually gets more hype. Am I just missing something? Am I not just seeing it out there because I'm not looking in the right places, or are they kind of not really jumping on the AJ McKee hype wagon?
I feel maybe because he's got a bigger record. You know, he's just got more fights, and then his one loss is to an important person in the game. So I don't know. His second loss should be to an important person as well, and maybe we'll see that that night for sure.
Well, I kind of think it's going to happen that way. And of course, he fought Cody at 135, and he's fighting you at 145. So this is and like I said, it's been 3 years, so you can't even take that fight into account. Other than looking at it on the record and seeing, oh, he lost to a pretty good guy. You know, that's all it really comes down to. But as you look at his record, did any other fights of guys that he beat, did they stand out at you? Anybody else that he fought, you're like, oh, wow, that guy's pretty good too, and he beat him?
I didn't know anybody else.
And neither did I. And no disrespect to him or disrespect to any of his opponents. There's a lot of people out there we need to know. I looked through his record up and down, and I got to be honest with you. Cody was the only one on his record that I knew. And the only reason why I know about Cody is because when he came to Vegas one time, when he just first got into UFC, he wasn't known, to be the champ yet. I talked to him for a couple of minutes, and I thought he was a really polite guy for all the tattoos, and his look didn't match up. So that's the only reason why I knew Cody before that, and before he became the champ. But otherwise, I wouldn't have known anybody on that list at all. Does that make you worried when you look at a guy's record and you're like, I don't know any of these guys on this record, but he's 12-1?
No, because you got a lot of guys that get padded records in MMA, but at the same time, a fight's a fight. So you just always got to be prepared. You always got to train like you're fighting the champion. So, in my mind, I'm going out there to fight Strauss this fight. Because
Yeah.
that's the man with the belt. So every fight, that's who I plan on fighting, and that's who I train like I'm fighting. Because that's the overall goal to where I feel I should be.
You think this fight is going to put you in a title run? Is that what's going to happen next with a title shot, or is your dad purposely holding you back to keep you
I'm
out?
holding myself back this time.
Okay.
I want to go beat that little Irish shit, James Gallagher's ass, real quick, because that little shit's disrespectful, and he needs a good American ass whooping.
So when you say disrespectful how so?
Just he got on national television and called me a pussy. Like, yet you're fighting someone else. If I call someone a pussy, I'm not fighting anyone else but that person I just called a pussy. So it's like, and yet he's over here talking about he's fighting a legend. Lyoto Machida's brother's not a fucking legend. Lyoto Machida is a legend. His brother's not a legend. His brother's a fucking bum just like Gallagher. Like, I'll knock both them dudes out in the same time. Like,
I love the Machida brothers. I love them to death. Lyoto and I are friends. I consider him a friend. And I agree with you. His brother is not as good as Lyoto. He's just not.
No, not even
doesn't have
close.
it. Yeah.
Not even close. Like,
No.
yeah, you got the name, bro, but you got to live up to it,
Yeah.
That's putting in the work, and you got to go out there and put in that work.
So, did you ask after he called you a pussy? Did you ask for that fight to happen instead of this one? And they were like, "No, he's already booked." Or what happened? How come?
I asked for the fight before he called me a pussy. If you go back on all my Instagram, everything, I'm always sign the contract, James. Sign the contract. What contract? You know what fucking contract? The same contract you signed before every fight, you pussy. Like, sign the contract. And then now all of a sudden he's talking about, I think he thinks he's just big britches because he beat my teammate Anthony. And I'm like, dude, okay, that's my teammate. That's like one of the guys I coach. Like, I help him get better. Like, I trained him for that fight. And you went 3 fights with him. And it's like, literally, I would have tapped Anthony out in the first round, but that's my teammate. So it's like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna like go out there and like, oh, Anthony's not good. Like
yeah,
Anthony's got a lot of potential, you know. For him
yeah.
to go in there and give you a fight like that, I feel Anthony was winning the fight. Anthony would have won the fight if he wouldn't have got caught.
Yeah, I was only casually watching it, and to be honest with you, I wasn't like focused on it and trying to judge it like a real judge. I was kind of casually watching it, and I felt like Anthony was winning the fight too before he got caught. I really did, and I was, to be honest with you, the way, because I was only listening to the hype train on these two guys. I've never seen either one of them fight before that fight, so listening to
Anthony's
the
got a
hype,
mouthpiece.
and I was like, man, this is gonna be like a fucking epic war. And then I was like, wow, Anthony's gonna be good. Like he's got some skill, he's got some talent, needs some help. He's got a couple flaws he's really got to work on right now. He's got a couple minor flaws that he can progressively work on. But then you're like, this guy's got some legit talent. And then for him to come out later on, like start calling you out, and then not want to fight you is kind of weird to me. How the whole situation happened. I thought it was your dad going, no, this is a different thing, or Bellator going, no, this fight is a better fight for you. We have Mija going this direction. That's why that fight never came together. He chose to fight Machida instead.
He can run, but he can't hide. He's gonna have to fight me sooner or later. I don't give a shit if I'm the champion and he's still a bum. I'll take that fight any day.
Well,
He thinks he's Conor McGregor, and I'm like, dude, you're nowhere near Conor McGregor. Like the difference between him and Conor McGregor and I, like we live, eat, breathe, and sleep this shit. You're just some knockoff version who's living up a hype train because you're the only other person from the country that fights on a main circuit, homie. Like,
yeah.
let's call a spade a spade. Now you know you can't beat me. I know you can't beat me, and that's why you're running. So let's be both the young prospects and put on a young prospect war and see who the better fighter is.
So if you beat Dominic on April 21st over the Mohegan Sun, Bellator, was it 178 or whatever? Are you immediately going to call him out after the fight's over and go look? And then how soon do you want that fight to happen?
I don't even want to waste my breath on it. Honestly, that's a waste of oxygen. Like, for what? I mean, cool. I feel Bellator's doing great things, you know, with the show out there and what. But all right, cool. Let Gallagher go fight. I don't really give a shit. I'm ready for that fight whenever.
Whenever it happens, right? But your main focus is on Strauss, who's the champ right now at the weight class.
That's all I care about. But if whenever they call me to take a step back down, I'm willing to take that step back down just for that little piece of shit.
So, is there you might not even know your contracts. I'm sure your dad handles all of it. But is there a championship title bout contract, clause in your contract that there's more money or different pay or different things when you're in a championship bout? And then if you become the champ or when you become the champ, is there a different deal set up for the champs as well in Bellator?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll renegotiate before I fight any of the top 5 guys, just because John Jones is the youngest champ at 23. I just turned 22 today, so it's like if you want me to go on and beat his legacy being the youngest champ, I mean, we're gonna need to talk some champion money here, you know. So it's all up in the air. They're just kind of playing it by ear. They weren't too happy with my last fight, but my last fight I was just in there. I felt like I was in there sparring, you know. I knew I wasn't in trouble. I knew I was winning the fight, so it's like, why go for the kill and risk getting caught? That's literally what I was thinking the whole time. But I wanted to show that I could take him down and dominate at the same time. And that's what I did at the end of the third. But I wish I would have did it in the second. It would have just showed a little bit more dominance than at the ending of the third. But hey, you learn, you live. You know, it's still young in my career, so just to be able to recognize that and do that at 21, my 7th fight is outstanding. Most guys don't get that cage awareness until they're about 20, 25 or so, you know?
Right, yeah. No, you're right. You do. It's a lot later, and that's why it's so tough to be a young champ. And that's why John Jones was able to do it so early, because he kind of has that mentality, or had that mentality. I don't know if he has it anymore because of all his other stuff going on. But it is important to kind of have that ability to learn from the fights that much and be like, okay, you know, I should have went after him in the second instead of the third. Now this fight, you got to hopefully correct that mistake and fix it. But you do need to start getting back to a spot, because now you got 2 decision wins in a row. You got to get to a spot where the fans are starting to want to watch you again, because you're getting these submissions or these knockouts.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Is this one, obviously your goal is every time. You want to either get a knockout or a submission. That's your goal every time. you have to assess. Is this part of the training camp though, where you're really thinking about I'm really going to finish this guy, or is it still just let's assess what happens in the first round, let's assess what happens in the second round and see what goes on?
My main thing for this fight is push him and break him.
Okay.
Because I feel he's a very flat fighter, and I feel like I'm going to just break him. Whole first round. First round, he's going to be like, okay, like, shit, like, I don't want to deal with that again. From beating him up on the feet to taking him down, ground and pounding, and then letting him back up. And then you got to deal with me on the feet again. It's like, oh, shit, you know? And then the round ends. Then you got to come out second round, and it's the same thing. I take you down, and then I bash your face in a little bit, and then I let you up. That's mentally draining.
Yeah.
Halfway through that second round, you're just going to be like, fuck, like, I don't want this dude on me anymore. And then I'm going to start fainting, thinking about the takedowns, and I feel like I'm going to just mix up all my everything, you know, instead of sticking to one thing and looking for, oh, it's the knockout, it's the knockout. Okay, well, knockout hasn't came yet. Let's take him down, soften him up a little bit, and look for some submissions on the ground, and just being aware of all your tools, you know, not just, oh, I got a Phillips screwdriver, you know, you want to use your flathead, your hammer, your wrench, you want to use literally everything you have. So I feel that was just another growing spot that I've kind of just added.
Well, thanks so much for coming on here, AJ. I really appreciate it. I know it's your video game time. Two things before we get out of here. What's your favorite video game right now that you're playing?
It would be in between Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1's pretty sick.
Okay.
I just don't like the fact you can't add any scopes on the gun. Everyone's like, well, they didn't have those back in World War One. I was like, well, shit, get a water bottle and make one, you know? Like, something, so.
You just get a water bottle and make one.
Yeah,
all you need is a magnifying glass, a water bottle. It's going to work, you know?
Yeah.
It's simple. It really is simple. And also, I just want to say happy birthday.
Thanks.
It's going to be a great year for you. It really is. And I think that Bellator is getting ready to give you the big push as long as you get a breaking, you know, push and break him type of fight like you want. Yeah. And I think Bellator's going to start giving you that big push, and your dad's going to have to kind of refigure things out, slow it down a little bit. We don't want to get too crazy too quick kind of thing. So I think that's what they're going to want to do with you, for sure.
Well, it sounds like the plan.
You love it. All right, buddy. Thanks so much for coming on, man. We'll talk again soon. Have a great rest of your training camp. We'll talk later.
All right, for sure. Thanks for having me.